We gotta look back at this.
How does he maintain possession?
Jenkins, and that definitely was a little helmet-to-helmet on that hit.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Week 14 is already here, guys. This week I'll look at 3 big games, and we got some big games this week. Eagles versus Cowboys. Cannot talk about that one, right? Rams versus Ravens. Interesting one there. Surging Rams team coming into Baltimore. And, of course, Bills versus Chiefs. Another big game. We talk the big games here no matter, even if it's tough to handicap, we talk them, we break them down. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping for client opportunities and packages in all sports. I don't just bet the NFL, guys. UFC. Currently handicapping UFC, NFL, NBA, and the NHL. A little lower volume in those 2 sports. PGA will be back in January. Euro Cup is coming up this summer as well. We'll be handicapping that. And at Copa America, I'll be handicapping as well. Week 13, another up and down week for myself with a rare best bet miss due to Jacksonville upset. Right? It's been almost 2 years since I lost a best bet in the NFL. We're low volume, of course, in those 2 years, but it's been a long time. And we got an upset. It was a rare 2-team money line parlay best bet. We're all over the Chargers. They got it done. Jacksonville got upset. Right? Jacksonville got upset. We're going 7-1 long term in all sports best bets. 72% in the NFL lifetime before that loss. Had a 2-team money line parlay like I mentioned, and the Jaguars just didn't really show up at home, and there was multiple reasons for it. I think they had multiple chances to win that game. But let's quickly look at it, right? Christian Kirk, who I thought was going to be a big plan in that game, and I think the offense was going to go around him, gets hurt in the first play after catching a 30-yard catch. So, tough loss, but it's okay. They have weapons. They can overcome that. A few guys got hurt throughout the game, right? Some protection for Lawrence. A couple guys on defense also got injured. And yes, Trevor Lawrence got hurt in the fourth quarter as well. So, that plus a missed field goal in the fourth. And, you know, I do have to give my hats off to Browning. I have to give my hats off. Played very well. Did not see him playing that type of game. He played well. Barely. Did he turn the ball over? Not too sure if he turned the ball over or not. Maybe one turnover, but he played very well, guys. I did not see him playing that good. Much better than expected. And what I also expected is, you know, the Jacksonville run D has been very good. Top 5 in the NFL, but they were able to run on them. So that also was surprising. You know, during this stretch that I had in November, first non-profitable month in November for a while, right? We were on a 9-week streak, profitable. Most months throughout the year on profitable, even if it's slightly or large profit, or even at sometimes. This is the first in November where we had a little bit of a up and down season in most sports throughout that month of November. And it's just some beats like this, close beats, right? Like, it's not like, you know, obviously there's some games that you want to take back and like, oh, why did I bet that? But most of them are just close losses. Could have gone either way, right? And it's going to happen when you bet on sports full time. Expecting a good month of December here. We just missed out on the Denver underdog bet as well, right? I had them plus 3.5, right? And it's just another tough beat. Like, look what happened here. Denver had the ball on the 10-yard line with 4 shots to get in the end zone. Right? They played that perfectly to try to go down because we know that Stroud could come down and just score again, right? So Denver played that perfectly, killed the clock, and had 4 shots at the end zone with 20 or 30 seconds left and couldn't get in the end zone at the 10-yard line. So I'll take that. You know what? When you're giving me an underdog bet plus 140 and the team is on the 10-yard line with 4 shots again, I'll take it. Right? They'll get in there more than they don't with 4 tries, in my opinion. So I'll take that scenario any day of the week. Denver could have won that game very easily. They did start a little slow, right? The offense did start a little slow. I think that's what ended up costing them the game, but they were able to play good enough defense to hold Stroud. And obviously Tank Dell was a loss as well. Hopefully you guys tailed the 49ers. We were all over them. I expect them to win the game, but not like that. Not 41-19. That was very impressive. Very impressive. Dallas could do something similar this week, and I'll be talking about that game here shortly. The 49ers have moved into the top spot, right? Best team in the NFL right now with my updated power rankings. I put my updated power rankings out on Twitter and Instagram on Tuesdays. We'll just quickly go over my top 5 here. Since this bye, the 49ers have looked unstoppable, guys. Looking unstoppable. I have some pending futures on them, which I'm happy about. Division winner we are on, and we also have a Super Bowl ticket on them. I think it's plus 900. I would have to look at that, but we do have a Super Bowl ticket on them. Updated power rankings, guys. 49ers, top of the NFL right now. Ravens, coming off a bye, can't move them much. Second, Eagles. Remember again, this Eagles team shouldn't be 10-2. Keep that in mind. They've been winning games that they shouldn't have been. And 49ers exposed them last week. Cowboys could do the same this week. Got Cowboys at 4th and Dolphins top 5 right now. Dolphins are actually on top of the AFC because Ravens did not play at 9-3. Let's do some news and notes here. Chiefs follow the Packers, right? And that's why they're moving outside of my top 5. I think they were top 5 last week, but they have fell out to 7-8 now. And it's just not consistent football we're seeing from them. It's mainly the offense, right? The offense has struggled this year. The defense has been better. Packers looking good right now after some early struggles. And it's interesting because you look at the Packers defense. So you look at the Packers injury list, and it's just loads of guys, big names. And they just went on this win streak. And a lot of it's due to Love. Love's playing really well. I think some good coaching as well. But Love's playing good football right now. And he's looking like, a legit starter in the NFL. Pittsburgh lose to Arizona. Lost Pickett in there as well. He could be out for weeks. Maybe he comes back towards the end of the season. Not too sure, but big loss for Pittsburgh. Great for the Ravens sitting on their bye. Tank Dell injury. Tough for Houston. He's having a huge year with Stroud, right? That's going to water down that offense a little bit. Still got Collins, still got some guys and some weapons there, but it's a huge loss because he's such a big weapon, deep ball, etc. He can do it all. So it's going to be interesting to see how Houston adapts without him. If they are making that playoff push, see how much of a loss that will be for them. Some weather issues this week, guys. Keep this in mind. There are weather issues this week, right? I look at it now. If things could change, it's weather. But there should be rain all day in that Ravens game. Cleveland and Jets have some concerns as well in those games. Lots of rain, wind as well. Rain's not as much as an issue. It's more the wind. So check out wind. Anything over 15 miles per hour, you got to be concerned. So some good websites. Just Google NFL weather week 14. There's multiple websites. I think Roto Grinders is good. NFL weather or something.com. Just Google it. Check it before you're placing your bets. Sometimes with wind, limited throwing game, probably you'll see a lot more running in those games, and totals could be lower. Let's get right into it. Guys. Eagles plus 3.5 versus Cowboys. Total 51.5. Another big game here for the Eagles. Right? This one even more important than last week due to a division title could be on the line for this one. Guys, winner of this game could win the title. Depends what happens, obviously, in the next 4 games. But let's see if the Eagles can bounce back. That's going to be important here, right? The 49ers absolutely dominated this Eagles team. I would say for 3 quarters, right? They did start a bit slow because Eagles went up quickly, 6-0. But the next 3 quarters... Purdy just looked like an MVP out there. Threw for 314 yards and 4 TDs. Rumblings of the MVP season right now, guys. Brock Purdy. Imagine he wins the MVP. That'd be wild. Crazy how that happens, right? He had that terrible stretch in the mid-season there where the 49ers lost 3 in a row. And then after the bye, he looks like a new guy out there. Along with the whole team in general, right? This Eagles defense has me worried. And it kind of did all season. If you heard me break down other games... when Eagles have been involved, I'm always concerned with their defense, mainly their passing defense. Even though they do have some names there, Slay, Bradbury, some other guys, I think they took a step back this year. Right? It's just very, very subpar. Very subpar. Now, the run D has been keeping this team, in games. It's been very good, but not as of late, which is kind of concerning, right? They were top of the NFL for most of the season against the run, and then now they fell to 4th. It took a big hit. They've been allowing 162 yards on the ground in the last 3 games, guys. So I'm not too sure what to really think now about this defense as a whole. It's starting to look really bad, right? The last 3 games they've struggled to stop both the run and the pass, right? They have allowed, let's see here, listen to this, guys, 260 a game, which is in the last 3, 270, but 260 passing yards per game is bottom 4 the NFL. It's very concerning. That's why Purdy looked like a superstar in that game. That's why Josh Allen looked like a superstar in that game. Remember, what did Allen throw for, 400 in that game? High 300s? He looked unbelievable in that game. This passing defense is really bad. And it has me concerned, can this team make that big run back to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? But with the defense how they're playing, they can't. Right? They're not going to be able to beat the 49ers in that NFC Championship game if that defense doesn't improve, right? They did add Leonard, a linebacker, which I do think is going to help that team. They did add him from the Colts. Is it going to happen? Is it going to help in the passing game? No, but it's going to help in the run game, I'm sure. So maybe they can get back to those numbers that they have. But yeah, concerning numbers on defense for the Eagles, and they're going to go play one of the hottest offenses in the NFL, which has me concerned. Right? Dak Prescott, he's getting MVP chance. He's getting MVP votes right now, and he's been playing great. If you look at his total here, when I was thinking right away, I was thinking, over passing yards on Dak Prescott for sure. I look at the total though, 301. It's tough. It's tough to get to 301, especially that the Eagles' run D has been struggling. We may see a little bit of a mix, may see Pollard a little more, and their backup. Right, so that 301, it probably will still get over. However, I just can't get, when I see 300 for QBs, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on the over. It's very difficult, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the over, but it's hard for me to get there on that number. Right, we already know the matchup between these two at the beginning of the year. I think it's mid of the year, actually. Eagles won at home, but Cowboys were surging at the end there after an Eagles turnover late in that game, but Cowboys cannot get in the end zone. They had multiple chances to do so. But now Cowboys are at home, playing better football than the Eagles right now. Cowboys have won 14 games in a row at home, guys. And 5 in a row against the Eagles in the last 10 games. So it's hard for me to back the Eagles how they're playing right now. I don't think Hurts is 100%. I don't think Jalen Hurts is 100%. And it's starting to show a little bit. He did throw for some yards last week. I get that. 298. But he had to play catch-up the whole game, right? 26 for 45 isn't good. And he only had 1 TD. So keep that in mind. I don't know if Hurts is 100% going into this game. Their defense is concerning right now. Sure, this Eagles team is a veteran enough and good enough to bounce back and maybe surprise and get a road win here. But my play is going to be on the Cowboys. Don't love the hook 3.5. If I had to, I'd play, buy a half here. Play Cowboys money line. Cowboys maybe in the teaser market here. But I think Cowboys get the win here. I like what I'm seeing from them. Dak's playing great football. Their defense has been solid. The only thing you can really say is, Cowboys are beating up on shit teams. You could say that, right? So this can be a big test to see if that is the case. But yeah, I'm gonna like the Cowboys to win this game, right? That hook, it could be a 3-point game as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if Cowboys win this game by 3.5 or more here. So it'd be 4 or more here. Expect Cowboys to continue to be able to put up passing yards, especially on this Eagles defense. Total 51.5. It's high. It's high. I'd lean the over, but not something I'll play. Rams plus 7.5 versus Ravens, total 40. Watch out, right? The Rams are pushing for a playoff spot with 3 straight wins against mid to low tier teams, right? Cleveland, Arizona, and Seattle. This will be their biggest test yet. It's not even close. And then it's going to see if this 3-game win streak's legit. If they're able to play the Ravens good, win the game, and get an upset here. Back-to-back games they have put up over 35 points. One of them against Cleveland, a top 5 defense. That was more impressive. Keep in mind, though, it was at home, and 14 of those points did come late in that game. I watched that game, so keep that one in mind. Ravens coming off a bye and a week off of football, right? A slow start is possible here, but you also could look at it, they had a week and a half, 2 weeks to prepare for this game and this team, right? So you got to look at that as well. Rain issues. I mentioned this in the news and notes here. There is some weather concerns. I would wait. If you're going to bet this game, I would wait till Sunday morning to actually check this weather. I'm hearing rain all day, like heavy rain all day, plus wind. Wind is the more important thing, 15 to 20, 25-mile gusts. So look at that before you bet this game. I would wait if you're going to bet this game. What can you say bad about the Ravens? Not much. Not much this year. The only thing I could say is maybe their run D. Usually the Baltimore Ravens run D is usually one of the best in the NFL. Top 5 for years and years and years. This year, though, last 3 games allowing 133. They're averaging over 100 per game, which is 11th in the NFL. You're not going to hear that much with the Ravens defense. But it's very hard and difficult to pass on this team. Stafford's going to have issues, even though he does have the weapons. He does have the weapons to be able to have a little success here, but this Ravens defense has been very good, right? Usually top 3 in the NFL in points allowed throughout the whole year. I think they were first for a while, but then 49ers took over. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Stafford, if he has time, I think he has success. Problem, Ravens can rush the passer, right? Number 1 in sacks in the NFL. So if you give Stafford time, if the O-line gives him time, he's a very good quarterback. However, against when he's pressured, the numbers, drop tremendously. So that's going to be interesting. Can Ravens get to the QB? O-line's playing a little bit better. I watched an interview with McVay. He agreed with that. He said at times the O-line wasn't playing good, but the O-line has been playing good and giving Stafford time. So that's going to be very key here in the trenches. Usually most games in the trenches is key, but I think it's going to be very key for the Rams if they want to hang around. If you ask me how I would play this game, I would actually play Rams plus 7.5 if I had to play this game. I don't bet really against the Ravens much, especially the season that they're having. So it's not going to make my client card, but gun in my head, I would take Rams plus 7.5 due to the way they're playing. Possible Ravens starting slow as well. Right? And also Williams, their running back. Running really well right now. Listen to this. Averaging 23 touches and 158 total yards since he came back from injury, guys. He's been a focus on them. And like I mentioned, you can run on this team. So if they get him going early, weather could be a concern, so they may have to run the ball a lot. But again, Ravens run the ball, one of the best teams in the NFL running the ball, right? So keep that in mind. You could see a slower pace game here, but I expect the Rams to hang around in this game. Do they cover the plus 7.5? Maybe they lose by 10, get backdoored. That's possible as well. I have a hard time seeing how the Rams win this game on the road. That would be a very tall task. Ravens off a bye and the way they're playing. Keep in mind, I did see Lamar illness on the injury report. That's something to keep in mind. This is a game you have to wait, right? The Lamar illness, I think he'll play. It's just an illness at the end of the day. But something is going around in that Ravens locker room. Bateman also had an illness and missed the game. So you can, maybe it's the same thing. Does it affect Lamar? Possibly. Wait till Sunday. Wait till Sunday to see how that all plays out if you're going to bet this game. But right now, I would look at the Rams plus the money. Ravens should win the game. Total 40, tough because the weather, right? If it's really bad, this game would go under. But if the weather isn't as bad, it can definitely go over. Both teams could score. Bills versus Chiefs. Chiefs minus 1.5 total, 48.5. Another fun one here, right? Two teams who are underachieving this season for their standards, right? The Bills are 500. I couldn't say I would saw the Bills 500. Now, I stayed off them in the future market. I did expect them to kind of take a step back. They're not the team we thought they could be. We know that, right? And I stayed away from them totally on the futures market. Big reason, road record. 1-4 on the road. This team, I only bet at home. I'll only bet the Buffalo Bills at home. If they're at home, I'm usually on them in some capacity. You know, they lost key guys on defense and it's really hurt them. They lost big guys early in this season and it has shown. It has shown, right? Allen's been good, been solid. Obviously, the turnover are always there, but he's been good. It's just sometimes this offense is just one-dimensional. Lack of a solid running game, which has me concerned at times with this team. Right? This Chiefs team has looked a lot different as well. Looked a lot different. They're not that high-powered offense that we're all used to. It's a defensive team now, right? 216 passing yards in their last 3 games, guys. That's low for them, right? Outside of the top 10 in points scored at 22.9. Still 22.9, still pretty good. But it's not the Chiefs team that we're expected to, the high-power octane offense. It's not them anymore, right? But their defensive numbers have been impressive this year. Third in points allowed at 17.3. Slipped the last 3 games, though. Keep that in mind, 21.7. Their strength is against the pass. Top 6 in the NFL against the pass. But you can run on this team. However, can the Bills run is the big question. Can they have a consistent run game week to week? I haven't seen it. But again, they're a pass-first team. That's what Chiefs do best. They stop the pass. They stop big gains in the passing game, right? Chiefs can wrap up the division pretty much with maybe 1 or 2 more wins. Right? Bills need this more, guys. Bills aren't going to win this division. Miami's running away with it 9-3 right now, unless everything falls off for the Dolphins. I don't see it happening. But Bills have a good chance still to win a wild card spot, right? That last wild card spot. They got to go on they got to get some victories to do that, right? Tall task to do that against the Chiefs coming off a loss at home. Tough, right? I can't pull the trigger. Very tough, right? I'm not betting this game. From a side standpoint, if I had to, it would be the Chiefs due to being at home and the Bills 1-4 record at home. I like Chiefs in the teaser market, though, plus 5.5. If I think Bills win this game, it's going to be by a small margin. So play is going to be a lean Chiefs minus 1.5, teaser plus 5.5, and the total 48.5. I'll have no business with that, right? This could go over. Both offenses could get hot. But also Chiefs could limit Allen. And Bills' defense can play decent at times, and the Chiefs' offensive struggle. So this could go either way. I'm staying off the total. I suggest you do as well. But Chiefs plus 5.5, probably my favorite play in the teaser market, and lean the minus 1.5. Underdogs. Just missed out on Denver last week. We're 12-6 on the year. Still very happy with that, guys. Plus money underdogs, remember. Plus money we're taking. It's not against a spread underdogs. It's plus money. So if you can be anywhere in the 60% range by the end of the year, you should be very happy. We're low 70s, high 60s right now. So very happy with that. There's options this week. Bills I just mentioned. Eagles could be an option. You can go right back to Denver as well, right? You can go right back to Denver as well. But we're going to do something a little different here. It's a little different. You got to take chances when you're betting on some underdogs here. But I think there's enough to say, play the Raiders off a bye at home, plus 140. Right? This Minnesota team has come back down to earth. Back-to-back losses, lost to the Bears on the road. Also coming off a bye, I understand that. But the plus 140 at home on the Raiders, sign me up. I don't think this Vikings team is good at all. I don't think Dobbs, that magic that he had, kind of showed against the Bears to not be legit. And I'll take the team with the more stars on it in the Raiders, right? And Jefferson may be back in this game, not 100% sure, but again, they play better without Jefferson, right? So, yeah, I'll take a shot on the Raiders. It's not going to make my client card, the plus 140. Maybe I'd buy a half, get that plus 3.5. It's plus 3 right now. Maybe I'd play the spread there on the Raiders, but not going to make my client card. I'll end you guys with a teaser, my favorite 7-point teasers for this week. It's going to be Lions plus 4. I think they should win that game on the road against the Bears. Bears have played them tough this year, though. Keep that in mind. Bears coming off a bye as well. So if Bears do win this game, I think it's by 3. 49ers minus 3. You can get in the market. And the Chiefs we just talked about at plus 5.5. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Hopefully they're getting back on track after a up and down month in November. After that crazy hot start in the NFL, I expected some regression. A little more regression than I expected. But it's still going to be another profitable NFL regular season. And some futures are starting to come in here. I'm looking really good in the future market. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.